Hundreds marching from James Madison Park to the state capitol. What they have to say just 2 days before Donald Trump's inauguration. Also, Central Hispano celebrates Three Kings Day at their new facility. We'll take you there. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. It was warm for a little bit, but it looks like we're cooling back down. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller, who's out on the weather patio. Blaze.
Yeah.
How does it feel out there?
Cold, much colder. I mean, we're in the single digits now, and about 24 hours ago, we were probably still in the upper 30s, if not the 40s, but we got to 50 on Friday. Now we're going to be settling into those single digits for your Sunday, your Monday, and your Tuesday as well. Alert day conditions extended through at least Wednesday morning, as that's when we're expecting these cold wind chills to stick around for, and especially Tuesday morning. That's when those wind chill values could be anywhere between 25 to 35 degrees below zero. There is a look at the extreme cold warning across northwestern Wisconsin and the cold weather advisory here across southern Wisconsin. That goes until either noon or 9 p.m. on Monday, but both will likely be extended because of that cold air is still going to be moving on down. The coldest air, as I mentioned, Monday night into Tuesday. But take a look at these cold wind chill values waking up Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday morning, and even on Wednesday morning as well. But then as we move forward into Wednesday beyond, temperatures will start to feel a lot better. We're already feeling 11 to 15 degrees below zero. The Dells, Camp Douglas, Viroqua, La Crosse, it's 20 below or near there in Decorah. So about a 30-degree temperature change across southern Wisconsin from yesterday to today. We'll head into the single digits below zero overnight, but we are tracking some snow chances and warmer temperatures in the full forecast. All right, Blaze, we'll see you then. 2 days out from Donald Trump's inauguration, and people in Madison are making their voices heard. The People's March brought out hundreds today in protest. Our Ellie La Liberté shows us why they came out.
Protests like this one are happening around the country, and from people I spoke to, it's not a movement of one, but a movement of many.
We have to protect each other because no one's coming to help us.
Shut it down! From James Madison Park to the Capitol Rotunda, hundreds of people came out for the People's March in Madison.
And there are people coming from all over the state to join us today.
I'm from Custer, Wisconsin.
And I'm from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Marching for causes like women's, abortion, immigrant, and transgender rights.
It all needs to be addressed.
About all of us together. And we have to all come together for each other.
Mia Kurzer called for the march.
I felt like it was important to really show that we are a community, and there are bigger people's marches like DC or Chicago, but it's so important to know community and to find community within the Madison area itself.
The event, notably just 2 days away from Donald Trump's inauguration.
People are getting anxious, people are getting nervous, people are starting to, realize what's going to be in store for us the next 4 years.
It is kind of scary, too, of what's going to happen. Nobody knows. We're all kind of holding our breath.
But the overall mission of the march.
And we're here to defend everybody.
Reporting at the state capitol, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. A sad day for the Madison Police Department on Monday. Police detective Eric Lee suffered a medical event while on duty and later died the same day. Lee joined the department in May of 2001 and served as the crash unit training and on the traffic enforcement safety team. He was promoted to detective in 2023. Madison Police Department in a Facebook post said Lee was known for his sharp sense of humor and making others laugh. He is survived by his wife, 2 children, and father. 2 men are in federal custody in connection to a December bank robbery at Chase Bank in Fitchburg. Parrish Barbary Weatherby and Daryl Shelton were charged with the bank robbery as well as an additional charge of brandishing a firearm during a crime of violence. Barbary Weatherby was separately charged with possessing 3 firearms as a felon on December 19th. Each face a maximum charge of 25 years in prison. A North Freedom man allegedly attacked a corrections officer while being booked in an Iowa County jail Thursday. Iowa County Sheriff Michael Peterson says Niles Cox attacked the female corrections officer. Peterson says Cox will receive additional charges of battery to law enforcement and attempted escape. Peterson says the corrections officer was treated and released from Upland Hills Hospital the same day of the incident. Cox has been given a $60,000 cash bond and will have an initial court appearance Thursday at 1:30 p.m. in an Iowa County Circuit Court. Centro Hispano is continuing a tradition, celebrating Three Kings Day with the entire community, this time in their new headquarters on Madison's north side. Our Tanisha Shaw was there and has more.
We want to come together at Centro to really be in community. It's a very special day.
Karen Menendez-Collar is the executive director of Centro. She grew up in California, where Three Kings Day is widely celebrated.
The kids are so happy, and I think the smiles just make me feel like everything's going to be okay.
Centro Hispano has been honoring the holiday for nearly 30 years, using the Christian tradition to bring the community together.
It's been adopted by the greater Madison community, and it's become part of what it means to grow up Latino in Madison, Wisconsin.
Centro also gave out hundreds of toys and painted faces for free.
We've been very intentional about having this event be the same weekend as MLK. We believe in social justice, we believe in the future, so it's another space to celebrate those dreams that our social justice leaders and our ancestors have said that we must continue.
Like most holidays, amazing tasty food is essential. For Three Kings Day, we drink champurrado and we eat rosca de reyes. If you're lucky, your slice may have a surprise inside.
The Three Kings came here to come bearing gifts and making sure that we know that we're special and we're taken care of. And so the cake is part of that, but the little baby Jesus inside is kind of like a symbol of like, you need to get back to the community if you get it.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. Central says every year the community comes together to host the event, with dozens of volunteers, businesses, and nonprofits lending a helping hand. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 10, Blaze returns with a complete look at your First One forecast, plus the latest on the TikTok ban, what could be next for the popular rap. And we are less than 48 hours from the start of a second Trump term, what you should expect from the 47th president.
News 3 Now at 10.
Thank you for staying with us. This just into the newsroom. TikTok is officially down in the U.S. Friday, President-elect Trump says he will most likely give the popular social media app TikTok a 90-day extension to avoid going dark. On Friday, the Supreme Court upheld a law banning the Chinese-owned platform on national security grounds. More than 150 million Americans use TikTok, and its possible closure has them seeking out alternatives. CBS's Ali Bauman joins us with more.
In case we only have a few more days together on this app, thank you.
Serial scrollers are saying goodbye to TikTok, even posting tongue-in-cheek messages to their, quote, Chinese spy. Friday, the Supreme Court sided with government concerns about national security and unanimously upheld a federal law that would shut the app down unless its Chinese owner sells the platform by this weekend. For many users, going dark would impact their bottom line. Oxford Economics estimates the total value of TikTok to its American users at $117 billion a year.
Without TikTok, we honestly would not be doing what we are today.
Food critics Audrey Jongins and Meg Radis of the VIP list say they make six figures through their TikToks.
TikTok just has such a broader audience than any other social media platform.
It's the algorithm. Like TikTok is just, it's so niche. It's where you can be fearlessly authentic.
Many users are already moving to other platforms like RedNote, also Chinese-owned. University of Colorado professor and TikToker Casey Fiesler.
You can try to reconstitute a community on a different platform, but it's always not going to be exactly the same.
Ali Bauman, CBS News, New York.
The federal budget deficit will be close to $2 trillion this year. That's according to projections from the Congressional Budget Office. The CBO says the country's deficit will be $1.9 trillion to be exact. It says federal debt will go up 118% of GDP by the year 2035. The agency predicts over the next 2 years, economic growth will slow down and inflation will also head downwards. The projections comes as Republicans plan to drastically upend federal cash flow trends. President-elect Donald Trump has announced the launch of a new meme coin just days before his inauguration. Trump wrote on social media on Friday, quote, "It's time to celebrate everything we stand for, winning." He also posted a link to a website with instructions to purchase the coin. According to the site, 200 million Trump coins will be available immediately. A total of 1 billion are planned within 3 years, all while Trump is in the White House. Trump, who was once a crypto skeptic, has vowed to push pro-cryptocurrency policies as president. And as President Biden prepares to move out, President-elect Donald Trump is moving in with a promise to bring drastic changes to Washington on day one of his second term.
The 47th president has expressed every intention of using executive power to address the border and immigration, including so-called targeted enforcement operations.
When ICE goes out, they're going to know exactly who they're looking for, pretty much where they'll find him. It's a well-planned operation. They'll know possibly who's in the household, including children.
CBS News has confirmed it will begin next week in major cities across the country. Homeland Security Secretary nominee Kristi Noem this week signaled wider changes.
President Trump has been clear that he wants to build the wall. President Trump's been very clear that he will end catch and release.
Trump also threatens to impose punishing tariffs up to 25% on imported goods from America's trading partners, including the biggest, Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau warns they will retaliate.
It's not just how these tariffs will hurt the Canadian industry. These tariffs will hurt the North American industry and endanger jobs in the United States as well.
For thousands of Trump supporters who gathered in the nation's capital for the inauguration, the weather has put a big chill on celebrations.
We came here with a little bit of excitement to be able to possibly get to go to Washington, but it looks like that things have changed.
I'm disappointed, but I understand.
On Sunday, President-elect Donald Trump will hold a rally-style event not too far from the White House, where thousands are expected to gather in the warmth. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
Switching gears now, let's get a look at your first one forecast. Blaze, what should we expect?
Colder temperatures, to say the least. I mean, yesterday we got to about 50 degrees in the Madison area. Elsewhere, even climbing warmer than that. In Janesville, I believe we got to 54 degrees for a high temperature. While today was cold, it's going to get much colder, especially Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's why we have those alert day expected through at least Wednesday morning, as the last of the cold wind chills will wrap up Wednesday morning. And then throughout Wednesday into Thursday, warmer temperatures arrive. Tonight's going to be cold. We'll dip a few degrees below zero, maybe a stray flurry, but the better chance for snow actually arrives into the second half of this week because of that warmer air. So right now we're beginning to watch that cold, marked by the white here, that cold Arctic air move southwards, and we're seeing the green where we expected it to be because we took that cold air and we're now moving it overhead in parts of Alaska and northwestern Canada. So the coldest of the cold air expected to be here Tuesday morning, and then we watch as that cold moves on out. The green is not as apparent up in parts of Alaska and northwestern Canada, at least in Alaska. So some of that cold air will actually go back, and that allows us to warm up just a little bit. And with that warm up comes more seasonal temperatures, not necessarily well above average, like to contrast the well below average temperatures we're expecting Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but more seasonal, even climbing a few degrees above average there by Friday, Saturday, and then by that maybe following Monday, we kind of become more seasonal as well. And those seasonal temperatures, while they're not extremely warm, they're going to be enough to bring back a little bit more moisture into the atmosphere and bring maybe some light snow chances beginning Wednesday and then again Thursday and that following Friday night into Saturday. Snow lovers, this is not going to be the heavy wet snow. People who don't like snow, this is not going to be a heavy wet snow. This is going to be more of that light fluffy snow because we just don't have the moisture to work with. So instead we're going to be dealing with some light snow chances here as we go into the next days following this cold. But a reminder, we do have those cold weather advisories for all of our coverage area through at least noon, 9 p.m. on Monday, depending on where you live. The threshold for the cold air advisory is a little bit colder, out of the La Crosse area, so a few of our counties are going to be allowed to expire there at least on noon on Monday. However, these are probably going to be extended just because of the cold expected to continue to be lingering around. So if we were to extend our future track snow, and let me just move this back just a little bit because I think we got to the very edge of where that data is. There we go. We're not seeing a whole lot in the way of snow chances. In fact, we're looking at maybe an inch or less if we take out the European model all the way to the next 10 days. And that really could line us up to have one of the least snowiest Januaries on record. We have a whole write-up about why we haven't seen any snow this January, how much snow the state has picked up from the start of the month through yesterday's date, and how much snow they haven't picked up from the start of the month through yesterday's date on our website. But we only have about 0.6 of an inch of snow here in the Madison area, and we've only got less than 2 weeks to get to that near 14-inch mark that we normally see in January. So again, the lack of snow, not necessarily bad, not necessarily good. We need that snowpack to really help out the drought conditions in spring, but the lack of snow really is making for some very thick ice conditions out on the lake, and that's allowing folks to get out ice skating, ice fishing, or just enjoying the lakes. So it's give and take, but you know what? After these single digits Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we'll be in the 20s and then the 30s by next weekend.
We had spoke about 2 weeks ago how the lack of snow is impacting local businesses as well, not having that business to do snow removal. So fingers crossed for them in the next few days or so to hopefully get some.
We'll keep our fingers crossed that a big system moves through.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. And you can stay up to date on the weather on our First Warn Forecast Weather app. It has hourly forecast, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Tonight, Israelis and Palestinians are anxiously waiting the start of a ceasefire in Gaza and exchange of hostages and Palestinian prisoners. It's set to happen in just hours, offering new hope to end a war that's now 15 months old. CBS's Remy Inocencio is in Tel Aviv with more.
Prime Minister Netanyahu warned Hamas that Israel retained the right to return to fighting if needed, as a senior IDF official said the ceasefire in the shattered strip will take effect in the morning as planned, and warned desperate, displaced Gazans to avoid Israeli soldiers and to wait before returning to the north. In Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, Israelis gathered this night, perhaps unlike any other since the war began.
Will it happen finally? Will it go okay?
There's hostages suffering, and you know, my heart has just been torn.
6 hospitals are ready to receive the first expected hostages tomorrow.
How do you feel? Bittersweet.
Hamas killed Gil Dickman's cousin Carmel Gott as Israeli troops neared their tunnel last summer. He's afraid the deal will fall apart.
We're not entirely sure that they're going to proceed after 33 hostages. They are going to leave hostages behind.
Dickman met Netanyahu just days ago.
I tried to look in his eyes and to see what he feels about the situation. What did you see? I did not see any emotion. I saw nothing.
And Israeli strikes did not stop today, hitting Gaza's north, even as aid trucks in Egypt waited to enter from the south. But tomorrow morning, the guns may finally fall silent.
Remy Inocencio, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
And coming up in sports, Wisconsin women's hockey makes a statement. Andrew tells you the stat line. You'll have to see it to believe. Next on News 3 Now.
John Blackwell seems to be turning into a star in front of our eyes, and he's a big reason why Wisconsin men's basketball are winners of 6 straight. They're out in LA this week, starting off with USC on their road trip, and the Big Ten newcomers were not ready for Blackwell. The sophomore was sensational, knocks down the 3, spurring a stretch where he scored 11 straight for Bucky. But if you know his game, he's not just about the deep ball, drives and attacks the rack. This dude was unconscious in the first half, and it carried over to the second. The Badgers had as much as a 19-point lead early in the second half, but the Trojans trimmed it. John Blackwell gets the layup to go, and the lead is extended. And then in the waning seconds, Blackwell puts a cherry on top of his masterpiece, throws down his first ever collegiate dunk, and the Badgers put a cap on an 84-69 win. out in California. We spoke with Blackwell after the game. He told us he was intentionally trying to set the tone early on and also told us he was pretty fired up about that dunk.
Yeah, I think as a leader and a point guard, I think that's my job to come set the tone, whether it's just defense or scoring. Especially on the road, when you're playing a team on the road, you got to bring your own energy. So setting the tone early is definitely the key. Just felt amazing because I know I got bounce. I feel like I'm the bounciest on the team, but yeah, it just felt great.
The Wisconsin women's hockey team spent their weekend playing in the Twin Cities against St. Thomas. They took care of the Tommies yesterday, but went back for more today. If the #1 team in the country was trying to make a statement, it came through loud and clear, and Layla Edwards was the messenger. 8 minutes in, and she gets the Badgers on the board with her first goal of the first period, and she was just getting started. The senior, a couple of minutes later, why not throw another one back into the back of the net? An easy one there for number 10. Nonchalantly gets it to go, and she was having a day because the first period wasn't over, and neither was she. Number 10 gets it to go. Layla Edwards with a hat trick in the first period. She finished the game with 4 goals. St. Thomas finished the game with just 1. Wisconsin wins it big, 11-1, the final score. And the Badger men playing Long Island, who they beat yesterday, needing a shootout to solve this one. Sharks hit their first goal, and Quinn Finley, who scored in the first period, looking for the good stuff. Goes top shelf with the goal. How good has he been? One of the nation's leaders in goals scored. And then later in the shootout, Wisconsin trying to sound the final horn. Christian Fitzgerald finds the crease. It goes down as a tie in the books, but the Badgers win the shootout 2-1.
Just in the last couple of minutes, the divisional round between the Lions and the Commanders wrapping up. What are your initial reactions?
Yeah, I think that the reaction right away would be maybe the NFC North wasn't quite as strong as we maybe thought it was, or at least that's what the playoffs are showing us. Packers lost their first game. Vikings lost their first game. Now the Lions go down. The NFC East is going to be well represented in the NFC Championship game. Going to be exciting to watch next week. The AFC Championship game will be right here on CBS next week.
All right, looking forward to that one. Blaze, a cool down on the way? Unfortunately.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. I don't need that upward inflection like it's a question. 25 to 35 degree below zero wind chills tomorrow morning, Monday morning, and Tuesday morning. It'll be a little bit better Wednesday morning, but we're going to keep the alert days all the way through Wednesday morning. But starting Wednesday onwards, we're in the double digits for highs and even some light snow chances Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday in the upcoming weekend.
Sounds good. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.